First world, come in and take a seat. Pay us no attention, it's all conspiracy. We have satire and parody, some funny, some perverse. If none of it's offensive to you, you'd be the first.
Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
Revenge, the sweetest morsel to the mouth that ever was cooked in hell.
Why doesn't the hero reveal himself and tell us your true name? You do have a name. My name is Gladiator. How dare you show your back to me? Slave, you remove your helmet and tell me your name. My name is Fun My Comic, and I represent all the campaigns you shadow banned and kicked off your website. Huh? Creators that just wanted to fund, that wanted to be left alone. And we will build a website that is going to bury you all. Oh crap.
I've done it. I've done that.
Monday morning, wake up time, get to work and stand in line. What would make her feel real fine? One Saturday morning. Coming up next is Tuesday's grind. The week is young, but I'm out of my mind. What would make her feel real fine? One Saturday morning. Wednesday, Thursday, jammed in the middle. Once again, make the pose a riddle. Watch tongue real loose, but plays like a fiddle. One Saturday morning. Friday has an exit sign. To get to the nest, it'll take some time. What would make me feel real fine? One Saturday morning.
Five hours of summer, once a week. One Saturday morning. Yeah. 5 hours of summer is what we need. One Saturday morning. 5 hours of summer, once a week. Whoa. 5 hours of summer. One Saturday morning.
Illuminating television.
Welcome to One Saturday Morning. Relax, kick back. It's Saturday.
We'll be right back to Disney's One Saturday Morning.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to another Saturday Morning Laundry live stream with me, EB, that's Earth's Best Entertainment. I see there are 2 people watching. Thank you for your patience for that 13 minutes of ads and intros. I am so appreciative of your time. Thank you for tuning in today. What a glorious morning it is indeed. Here on the Madness Network and on my channel as well, Earth's Best Entertainment. So thank you so much. Please, if you haven't already, get on over to the website, which is earthsbestkickstarter.com, which will get you to my Fund My Comic site for Earth's Best Friends number 4. Now, I have been instructed to prepare something a little bit special for today because it is CromCon. And technically, since it's Saturday morning and my show kind of kicks off the beginning of the Saturday, you could kind of say this is like a CromCon pre-show. I don't know why I have gay energy when I do this show. It's really weird. I am not a gay man, and I don't normally have gay energy, but I kind of do that when I perform. I don't get it. Anyway, psychology with Mr. Ghatti. A Dr. Ghatti. I'm not a doctor, but I play one on the internet. I don't know what's wrong with me. All right. So there's a couple things I want to show off, actually. First things first, Tween Titans cover. Let's turn off the things for a second here so you could kind of just bask in its glory here. Tween Titans cover. Oh, what a night. What a glorious night this is indeed. And then I also want to show off this cover, which I haven't added the logos to it, everything yet. Actually, I have. I just don't have that particular image on my phone. So this is the Gabriel Nissi Animal Teens cover, and that one before is the Rich Perotta Tween Titans cover. Both Rich and Gabriel are working a couple. They'll be each doing a few covers each. I think I'll have a total of 4 from Gabriel because I already have one. I already have one completed from him, plus that Animal Teens cover. And then he'll be doing he's doing 2 more for me after that. And then Rich will be doing about 10 as well. So I'm gonna have a lot of covers from 2 amazing artists. Rich is working on Going Ape cover, which is actually one of the books of Earth's Best Friends, book number 4. So let me get into explaining what the heck I'm talking about when it comes to book 4 and episode 1 and yada yada yada. Short history of Earth's Best Friends since I started this whole thing. It was actually supposed to be a 1,000-page graphic novel. I have an entire, what I'm calling a season, written out of scripts, mostly of Hyperfeeling Ninja Heroes. That was kind of the story that I focused on. I could have called this series Hyperfeeling Ninja Heroes, but I wanted to include Animal Teens as well. And then, of course, last year I created Tween Titans. So originally it was supposed to be one graphic novel. So when I failed at funding for that $10,000 graphic novel, my second Kickstarter, I decided to just group it by a couple of different volumes of books. So book 1 was the first couple of chapters of Earth's Best Friends. Chapters being the individual stories. I was calling this an anthology, which it is still an anthology series. So after that, I had book two Kickstarter successful as well. So book 1 was funded. Book 2 was the successful Kickstarter. And then last year, 2022, book 3 came around. And that was when I combined all 3 books into one volume. And that was the book that I was selling all last year in 2022, since July 31st. Now, I made a decision to kind of go backwards and turn each chapter within that volume into an individual floppy for printing sake and for print cost sake, and for, of course, to have more products on my table than just one book, because I noticed that people kind of overlook you when you only have one book on your table, and it's really kind of a sad display. Just a sad display anyway to have just the one product, no stickers or anything like that. And I'm not a sticker guy. I'm not a guy who makes a whole lot of like different like things to go along with it, just because I don't have a whole lot of money. So I also want to show off this cover real quick. So book 4, which I'm funding now. So book 4 continues the series. Now the series is Earth's Best Friends. The individual stories are Hyperfeeling Ninja Heroes, Animal Teens, and Tween Titans. Tween Titans being this. I don't think I have a Hyperfeeling Ninja Heroes cover here. Animal Teens being this, and Hyperfeeling Ninja Heroes being, I'll just show it. Come on, get in my hand. This, right? So, I have prepared for you a video. I know, another video, right? I just went 13 minutes of videos, but this is a special video. It's actually from my YouTube channel, but it kind of just gives a good. I call it Comics Explained, Earth's Best Friends. I got the idea from another YouTube channel called Comics Explained, where they explain Marvel comics or DC comics. I decided to do that sort of thing, except for my own comics. And so I don't think the video clip added. Rawr. maybe I can't play that video for you after all. Let's try it again. Let's see if it uploads. Might have to. Dun, 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 dun. I appreciate your tuning in and your patience, guys. So if you're watching on YouTube, please drop some comments, talk to me, or talk to me here. I'm not just shouting into the void, you know. I wonder if it's because we're probably at our max of how many videos we're allowed to have. I bet you that's probably it. But I probably missed it when I was starting the show. So while that's processing, I'll continue explaining everything. So now I have floppies. All right. I have Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes up to number 6. I have Animal Teens up to 3. I have Tween Titans number 1. And then I'm gonna have something called Family Problems, which is just a 4-part story. I put all 4 parts together in one book. So like I said, this is an anthology. It's probably meant to be in a graphic novel, more of a graphic novel form than individual floppies, but I'm trying the floppies route for a while to see if that works. You know, I'm still trying to figure out my footing here for this series. You know, because it's multiple layers and different pieces moving at the same time. It's a lot. You know, I never do things to make things easy for myself. I always pick the hard route. That's just been me my whole life. Here it is. All right. So without further ado, it is going to cut off a little unexpectedly because StreamYard only allows 10 minutes. So it's 9 minutes, 59 seconds. So I apologize for the length of the video, but it is entertaining. It's not going to be just like a boring documentary or something. All right. Anyway, without further ado, here is Comics Explained, Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes, number 1, Tornado Trouble. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of YouTube video on Earth's Best Entertainment. This is Comics Explained via Earth's Best Entertainment. So what I'm going to do is actually explain what's going on in one of my books. As you all know, I have switched from the graphic novel format to individualized stories, basically for printing costs and for simplification purposes. So I'm going to go over the first episode of Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes, which is part of Earth's Best Friends anthology, called Tornado Trouble. So please enjoy this, guys. This is going to be really fun to do. So I can't wait to get started. And yeah, let's do it. And please, if you haven't already, it's scrolling across your screen. Support me at www.earthsbestentertainment.com. That is where you can find all my social media, where you can click upon and like and subscribe and retweet and touch, share, and all the other things that you can do in social media platforms. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get to it. So the first issue of Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes, called Tornado Trouble, starts off with this picture here. Starts off with a little picture here, gives you a little taste of what's to be expected. Right here we have Sky, our green Hyper Feline Ninja Hero, also known as Sealy, who has indeed the power of wind. Then we go over to the credits page. Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes in Tornado Trouble, written by Michael Ghatti, artwork by Gene Pedroso, character design by Dave Lenz and Gabriel Nissi. And then we have page 1. So page 1, in the peaceful suburbs of Neon City, we have Jackson and Chloe in the foreground, and Celie and Lacey in the background, saying, "Hey guys, wait up!" So in the context, these are elementary school kids who will eventually transform into their superhero alter egos, the Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes. Jackson and Chloe are twins, whereas Lacey and Celie are about 6 months apart from each other. They are in different grades, but they are actually just 6 months apart. So the 4 of them are the hyper feline ninja heroes, but when they are humans, they are elementary school kids. The twins are in 4th grade, Lacey's in 2nd, and Seely is in 1st. And their last name is the Bellators. So from here on forth, I will be referring to all 4 of them when they're not the hyper feline ninja heroes as the Bellators, which, fun fact, means warrior in Latin. So we have page number 2. So they get to school, and there is an announcement. Attention, students and faculty, we are in a lockdown situation. Please report to the nearest classroom and hide under the desks. So there's a lockdown situation. For those of you who aren't familiar with what a lockdown situation is, lockdown drills are what schools in the United States of America, at least, I can't speak for other countries, so if you're not American reading this, you might be a little confused. I don't know. But either way, what we have here is a lockdown situation, which means a lockdown drill is when there's an announcement over the PA saying, kids, get away from the windows, hide, lock your doors. There is an active shooter running around the building or some kind of threat. In this case, it's not actually an active shooter threat, but it is a threat nonetheless. And then we go over to the next page, and that is where the teacher explains that there's a bank robbery, and that's why we have to continue to be under our desks and away from the windows. The Bellators are deciding how they can help this situation get through, and they're discussing, obviously, in order for them to transform into the hyper feline ninja heroes, they have to create a distraction, and they all look at Seely as he is always the distraction. Next page, Chloe is telling him that he's it. He's got to be the distraction. He says, I hate being the distraction. And Jackson's like, but you're so good at it. Look, it's the bank robbers wearing George Washington masks, riding unicycles. And of course, the entire classroom tramples over Seely to rush to the window. So now all the kids and the teacher are at the window, so the Bellators can become the hyper feline ninja heroes. And that is what happens in the next page. Jackson helps him up, and he says, let's get ready for action, because that is the tagline of the hyper feline ninja heroes. Jackson, more specifically, when he orders them to transform, that is what they say. Let's get ready for action. So then we have a transformation sequence with a little bit of description for each hyper feline ninja hero as they transform. Jackson turns into Fury, Chloe into Rosie, Lacey into BB, and of course Seely into Sky. Together, they are the hyper feline ninja heroes. Meanwhile, we have our bad guys, our antagonists, watching everything that's going on. And of course, we have Anubis here who is looking at the screen, and he says, what the devil? When he sees the hyper feline ninja heroes. And that is, of course, a reference to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When Shredder first sees the Ninja Turtles on his screen, that is exactly what he says. What the devil? So then we have a little bit of comedic banter between Sky and Fury. Not so fast, evildoers. Really? You went with evildoers? Well, I believe it's an applicable plural noun. And then Rosie's like, ahem, guys. And Fury tells everyone what to do because he is the leader. Of course, Red being the leader as a reference to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and every Power Rangers series from then on. The Red Ranger is statistically always the leader of the group. So that is what makes Fury the leader of the group. He is red, therefore leadership. So they blow the bank robbers away with some water and some tornadoes and vines. And then Sealy makes another pun, or Sky makes another pun. You guys are all washed up. And Fury just says, just shh. And then, of course, we cut back to Anubis and his assistant, Harris. And he says, these felines need to be eliminated. And Harris says, yes, master. How about I conjure up a nice monster? And Anubis says, no. Let's make it look like an accident. Let's make it a natural disaster. And Harris says, all right, yes, master. So they get the robbers are arrested. Fury's patting himself on the back. And then Sky says, Fury, take a look at this. There's a mega-sized tornado. Guys, get the citizens out of here. And then that's when the tornado starts creeping up. And that's when we see a tornado, a mega-sized tornado, the biggest tornado anyone has ever seen in the history of tornadoes, especially in Neon City, which is what we call New York City in the real world. And this is where Sky says, guys, get out of here. And BB's like, what? Rosie's like, but you'll die. And Sky's like, go now. And Fury says, thanks, man. As it comes at Sky, we see the mega-sized tornado. We see him. They got the citizens out of there. He's telling his siblings to get out of there. And then he has no choice but to pray to God. Be merciful to me, O God. Be merciful to me, for in you my soul takes refuge. In the shadow of your name, I will take refuge till the straws of destruction pass by. Psalm 57, 1-3. So, and then he says, then he looks at the camera and says, hey, who do you pray to when you see a tornado come into the All right. Yeah. So like I said, it's going to end abruptly because it can't go past 10 minutes. So, so that is my comics explained for Tornado Trouble. I have a few videos of that up on, well, I will put it up on this channel, Earth's Best Entertainment. It was on my other channel, which was previously called Earth's Best Entertainment, and this was called Earth's Best Entertainment 2. But I've decided to turn my other channel, since I can't go live with it, into a more Christian thing. So I'm calling that Cornerstone Ministry. So I will upload all those Earth's Best Entertainment related videos onto Earth's Best Entertainment, which is now this one that you are currently watching, unless of course you're watching on the Madness. So I do say, please, if you haven't, subscribe to me at Earth's Best Entertainment, and if you're interested, subscribe to me at Cornerstone Ministries as well, because I do daily psalm readings and as well as other Christian kind of content. Let's pop this stuff up back on the screen. There we go. So that is the first episode of Hyper Feline Ninja Heroes. I also have Animal Teens and Tween Titans. So, like I said, I had originally written a lot of scripts for Earth's Best Friends, and I'm just slowly turning them into comics now. I've got stories for years, man, in what I'm calling season 1, and I've even got part of season 2 scripted out. I haven't done too much scripting because I've been focusing so hard on promoting, and I'm not in a spot where I need to start scripting all that much yet. But I do have some episodes scripted for season 2. So as long as I've always said, as long as I keep on affording to do this, I will. I'm hoping that folks will enjoy it. It's a passion project of mine. I love it so much. I love writing these stories. I love seeing it come to life. Gene Pedroso is such a talented comic book artist for this project. He's perfect. And then of course Rich Perotta's cover. I love it. I love it so much. and I love what he's doing for me with Going Ape. I can't wait to see that project as well come to life. That cover, not project. I mean, it is a project, right? So that's the special thing I had planned for the CromCon edition of Saturday Morning Laundry live stream. Because normally I'm just talking into the void and being weird, because that's what I do. I like to be weird. Be weird, be blessed, right? But seriously, guys, I need some love over on Fund My Comic. I've got 2 backers, and it's been almost 2 weeks now. It'll be 2 weeks Monday. So please, 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 I beg of you, get on over to Fund My Comic. EarthsBestKickstarter.com will take you there. Back book 4. Even if it's the buy me a coffee tier, I appreciate any money you throw at me. Seriously, every little bit helps, and I would just love to see this thing funded completely. And it really helps. It helps me pay my artists, helps me afford the books. I'm constantly right now. I'm just perfecting these floppies. There's a lot of them to perfect, as well as paying my covers. So please, guys, if you're interested, if you liked what you saw in that video, if you liked these covers, what you see, get on over to earthsbestkickstarter.com right now. Pledge to me, please. I beg of you. I'm begging, man. I'm begging from the bottom of my heart, man. I do appreciate, though. I do appreciate your time just hanging out with me today. Every little bit helps. I do hope that you like, subscribe, and share. Get the word out. Let's get some eyes onto my channel, and of course my books as well. And if you're interested as well, and even Cornerstone Ministries, I'm even more passionate about the Lord. I don't want to get long-winded about that, because we're not here for the Lord necessarily. I mean, I am, but you folks watching at home probably aren't so much. I also have a 3rd book to show off. This is Hyper Feeling Ninja Heroes #2. Now, this cover was done by an artist named Dave Lentz, also a very talented artist. And I'm a big fan of flavor text. Dr. Quacko refuses to be mocked any longer. So, a big inspiration for episode 2 of Hyper Feeling Ninja Heroes was Captain Underpants, and the Revenge of Pippi P Pee Pants. Pippi P Poopy Pants. So basically, in that book, Pippi P Poopy Pants has a really silly name, and nobody takes him seriously. So I decided to take that idea and run with it. The idea of nobody taking a brilliant scientist seriously because of some weirdness. So Dr. Quacko, who's actually Dr. Anate, which, fun fact, Anate means duck in Latin. I love using Latin words for last names or first names because they sound cool. And if you don't know Latin, if you don't know those words, you don't get the reference right away. You don't see that it's really just a pun. So Dr. Anate, he becomes Dr. Quacko because the Hyper Feeling Ninja Heroes call him that, and it kind of just sticks. So he's Dr. Quacko, and then the flavor text for this one is actually cut off, but it says it's hard to fit in. Being a Tween Titan, it's hard to fit in because the first episode of Tween Titans is called Fitting In, and then the flavor text for Hyper Feeling Ninja Heroes is, when there's trouble, call the coolest felines in town. So yeah, again, this was Gabriel Nissi. This cover is actually the reason I even hired Gabriel Nissi to be my character designer. Now I've showed off some of his character designs before, but I'm gonna do it again. Which, by the way, I know if you've watched my show previously, I've talked about Gabriel Nissi going MIA. He has returned. His phone was stolen, and so he had a hard time getting back in touch with me. But he did, and he, like I said, he presented that cover to me. So here's a couple of his character designs. So this is Ring Boy, which you actually see on the cover of Tween Titans, right there. And then we also have Nogaku Toriyama, which is, of course, a reference to Akira Toriyama, one of my favorite Japanese creators. And then we also have Onokono Nomura, which is a reference to Tetsuya Nomura, which is another one of my favorite Japanese creators, creator of Kingdom Hearts. Akira Toriyama being creator of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, not Dragon Ball GT. Dragon Ball GT is not canon. It was fan fiction. Somehow it was fan fiction that became anime. I digress. And of course, book 4, the cover for book 4 is this really, really awesome. I'm going to probably have the Earth's Best Friends logo popped on there as well. So all of these are still works in progress. As you can see, the Tween Titans cover doesn't have the flavor text. I have recently edited it so that it does, as well as some editing. So, like I said, I'm constantly, improving these books to make them as perfect as possible, so that when you receive yours, it is the best possible product. So, I'm very passionate about getting you the best possible product, even if I have to keep on keeping on. Hey, I got a comment. First World, man. Hey, what's going on? That's Doc Bishop of First World Comics. Hey, man, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. You're welcome to join as well. I've got the link in the chat. Yeah, and of course, check out First World Comics. Opinionoid. I almost said Openoid because I think that's what you're getting at. Opinionoid Crisis. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, these covers, man, are dope, as the kids say these days. They are dope. Or as people from my generation would say, they're the bee's knees. I'm just kidding. I'm not from that generation. Now, what would they say in my generation? I would say it's sick. That's what kids from my generation would say. This cover is sick. Dude, that's sick. It's really weird language. Language is really weird because you say something is sick, and depending on the context, you're either insulting it or praising it, right? Like what the UN just announced the other day is sick, as in sickening, but the cover, as we've established, is sick, as in really awesome. Excellent, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, come on in when you can. Even though I have 7 minutes left for my laundry to be done, but we'll play it. We'll go a little longer than that. Because I like doing the show, and hey, it's a special CromCon episode after all. And I started a little later than I normally do. Well, I mean, I started on time, but 13 minutes of videos before I got to start talking. So, and then there was that 10-minute Comics Explained video as well. So, let me get my headphones in. If he's gonna join in, join the crowd. Join me for a very special CromCon laundry live stream. Fat. Oh yeah, fat. That was one that my generation used too. This is fat. Fat. PHAT. Pretty high tempting. Yeah, I remember that. That was from a movie called Money Talks, right? With Chris Rock. Was that Chris Rock or was that Chris Tucker? I get those two guys confused because they both kind of have similar like personality. All right, let me just make sure my headphones are working. All right, I'm gonna have to pop out and pop back in so that they connect. Wait, let me make sure my Bluetooth's connected. Okay, it is. All right, so pop out and pop back in. Hopefully they work.
another cow. What is our humming noise? Oh. Hold on. I'm going to pop back in again.
That might be better. Let's find out. Let's find out. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera here. Whoa! All right, how about now? Go, it's working. Okay, cool. All right, so now I'm ready. Now I'm ready for First World Comics to pop on when he's ready. So yeah, it's exactly. It somehow it screwed up. So hopefully it's fixed now. I had to like reset them. So hopefully it's okay good now. Hopefully it's good now. But either way, I see 2 people watching, which is awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. And it's only 8:40 in the morning for us here on the East Coast in New Hampshire. So if it's earlier for you, I really appreciate your time and being up so early just for me. Ah! Dun, 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 dun. The First World video advertisement is definitely my favorite that we play. First World, da, 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I don't do it justice. I also don't know the words very well, so. All right, that's enough of that. Like, just chill. All right. But yeah, it's pretty exciting to have these books coming to me now, and I've got some legitimate covers coming, which is I cannot wait to show them off once they're all completed. And things are so exciting right now for Earth's Best Friends. This year is the year about YouTube presence, and it's about stockpiling inventory for the convention season next year. So I can't wait, guys. I can't wait. I might try to get into a convention this year, depending on how much inventory I have towards the end of the year. I was invited to join them over at Hero Shack, one of their conventions. They said they would share a table with me, which is very generous, and I might take them up on that offer, because it would be good to at least do one show this year. And they have a similar demographic as I do, which is great. So I should just like tour with them, kind of form like an unofficial partnership or something. They're pretty cool cats. Here we go. All right. Hey man, what's going on?
What's going on, my friend? How are you doing today?
I'm excellent. You know, it's a good morning, and yeah, we're having a good time here today.
That's what it sounds like. I've got one of my eyes awake, so it's getting
There you go.
I'm
Yeah,
East Coast too,
absolutely.
but I don't do mornings as well as you do. Evidently, it's my mornings take like 2 hours before my morning.
Oh gosh.
Before both my eyes open, it takes like an hour per eye. You see, Joe would take 3
Gotcha.
hours.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how you know, it's probably partially because I work third shift, so I'm generally up at 6 a.m. kind of naturally anyway. So when I have the day off, I wake up 6 a.m. There's my laundry bell, but I'll keep it going for a little while longer. We can hang out for a bit first.
That's good. That'll work. Thank you. So is that what you do in the
no
morning?
problem.
You broadcast while you do your laundry?
Yeah. Saturday mornings is the is laundry day, so that's
Nice.
kind of a thing. Yeah. My shows are all based around my schedule. I don't have
You kinda have
time,
to do that,
generally
right?
speaking. Exactly. So
One of
although I
these
am
days
making
we're
a
gonna have
little
to show us
time today.
how to do laundry. You see, I think I've only done maybe 3 loads of laundry in the past 45 years.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, hey, you know, that's fine. You know, if you've got folks doing it for you, that's great too. You know.
Yeah, no, I would rather just buy new clothes than wash them. For some reason, I despise laundry. It's that
Okay.
ranks right up there with like torture to me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hit the laundromat, so it's not too bad. And then and we don't have a whole lot of clothes. I tend to throw away clothes when I feel like we have too much.
Yes.
My wife hates me for that sometimes. I threw
see,
away like a whole box of clothes, and she's like, "That was all our summer clothes." And I'm like, "Why do we need all these summer clothes?
Why do we need summer
It's
clothes
not
and then
summer."
winter clothes and then fall clothes and then
Exactly. I
I'm
have
just the opposite. I have clothes that are
5
older
shirts
than
and 2 pairs of pants.
I have shirts that are older than my children. I'm a hoarder. I don't like to throw things away.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I'm a little on the opposite. I'm very willing to throw things away. I get that from my mom. She threw that stuff away on me all the time. Like there are toys that just disappeared on me.
No, but I might need to see that power bill from 1993.
Right.
My
Yeah.
worst thing is I collect paperwork. I collect papers. So you go into my office and there's just stacks of papers all over my office.
Oh gosh.
But the fucked up part about it is I know where they all are, and if I ever need something, I go straight to it.
Right. It's controlled chaos.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I was told that the ADD brain has to kind of organize that way because it's just so chaotic. It's like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm trying to come up with a good synonym, but it's way too early.
No, it's all good. I know a thing or two about ADD brain for sure. Thus, the gum I'm chewing is nicotine gum. They say folks who have ADHD tend to smoke cigarettes because nicotine helps with that sort of thing. I never picked up smoking cigarettes, but I have learned that chewing nicotine gum helps. Yeah, see that? I mean, there you go. So there it is, right? So, you know, I won't tell you what to do with your life, but smoking is bad for you. I don't condone it, but nicotine gum, on the other hand, is a much safer alternative, and it still gets you what you need, you know?
The worst part about it is last time I quit, nicotine acts as a sedative, so it'll actually...
yeah, it calms you down.
It calms you down with the ADD, yeah. So when I quit smoking it was about 4 days, I got so much energy, I was pissing myself off.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I didn't sleep for like 2
will.
days. It was bad.
Oh my gosh.
Bad.
Yeah. It's funny. So when I was doing my initial research on nicotine, and you know, because it just pop, having ADD thing, ideas pop in your head and you become obsessed with things, right? So I'm like,
is what we call them.
Hyperfocus, right.
When you can hyperfocus,
and I'm just like,
superpower.
Right, absolutely, right. And I'm just like, well, all right. So if essentially Adderall is meth, right? It's a form of meth. Amphetamine, they call it amphetamine salts, right? They're both amphetamines. I'm like, if a stimulant like amphetamine calms you down when you have ADD because it somehow has an opposite effect on your brain, right? If normal people take speed, they go, whoa, I can't sleep for 5 days, right? When we take speed, we're like,
you can think about 1 or 2 things at a time instead of 12.
Exactly. So I'm like, well, nicotine's a stimulant. I wonder if that would have a similar effect, right? So I did a whole bunch of looking into it, and it turns out there have been a couple studies done in legitimate Harvard University, I think was the school, that nicotine does in fact. Yeah. So it does in fact have that same kind of effect, and it actually even college students will chew nicotine gum to kind of cram for exams, similar to taking speed, right? Except it's a safer, legal alternative, right? I guess you could say nicotine is a form of speed, right? Because basically what that word means is stimulant, right? So I got to thinking, and I'm like, right, exactly. For us as a sedative, right, exactly. So I got to thinking, I'm like, well, maybe I should try it. I should do an experiment on myself where, I'll chew nicotine gum and see if it calms me down. I worked at a call center at the time, so during this call, while I was working at a call center, I'm constantly tapping or just doing random things because
tapping your feet, yeah.
So I tried it, and and strangely enough, I don't know why this is, but caffeine does not have that sedative effect on at least on me. I guess it does to a degree because coffee will put me to sleep if I drink too much of it.
I drink a cup of coffee right before I go to bed. No problem.
Yeah. But when I took caffeine pills as a control compared to the nicotine, the caffeine pills did not help me at all. The caffeine pills made me like, right? So I don't know why. Yeah. But when I did try the nicotine, they were like, dude, you're like a completely different person. Like, these are what my coworkers are saying to me. And then I actually did talk to my doctor because everybody was like, oh my God, you're going to start smoking. Nicotine is so bad. It's like, well, nicotine gets a bad rep because of cigarettes, right? But if you take the nicotine,
carcinogenic aspect of it, not necessarily the nicotine.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing. The cigarettes are bad, not necessarily the nicotine. I mean, nicotine is, you can overdose.
Overdoses, yeah.
High quantities. And
even water can kill you.
Absolutely, right. And so I've learned that nicotine is really no worse for you than caffeine, and caffeine can definitely cause you to have problems if you have too much of it at a time as well. Now, nicotine you can overdose with smaller quantities. I've learned that if I ever wear a nicotine patch, it will make me feel like I'm about to explode. Like, it will make my heart go, oh, right? So the gum is a lot less potent than the patch. The patch is like, don't do the patch. I guess if you're a smoker, you're probably getting in way more nicotine than what my body would be used to.
For a lot longer too. I've been smoking a while.
Yeah, exactly. But for someone who's just like, it's a 4 milligram piece of gum, and maybe I'll chew a couple at a time, but still, nothing. The patch is like 24 milligrams, 21 milligrams, so it's way more.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, and it gets to you faster too. It goes right to your bloodstream. Whereas when you ingest, it still takes a little while for it to kick in and stuff.
Yeah, it's got to go to the gastric system first.
Exactly.
Well, that's actually one of the things. I've been doing a study on. Now, if I'm going too far, cut me off. But on the psilocybin and DMT, the dimethyltryptamine, and what it does to the brain, because that's our pineal gland produces dimethyltryptamine, or a version of dimethyltryptamine. It looks the same chemically. When we sleep and enter REM sleep. So that is when we convert short-term to long-term memories. That's when we do a lot of our troubleshooting and sorting of the day's events, and it has a lot to do with memory. And some of us, and some of Americans, have elderly parents or elderly friends that are starting to experience cognitive decline, and that just happens with age, when you just You know, I like to call it CRS. You know, can't remember shit.
Yeah, right.
But they've actually got a really, really interesting study they're doing out of Johns Hopkins where they're using microdosing of dimethyltryptamine and psilocybin in order to reverse the symptoms. It's not actually repairing anything. It's just it's managing the symptoms of the dementia, Alzheimer's, any of the cognitive decline disorders. And they're noticing that if they're doing it in patterns of about 4 days of microdosing, and that is like, you know, a half a gram every couple of hours, that they're noticing when they come off of it, they're having a much larger increase in the cognitive recall because of the brain's ability, to be more plastic, or the plasticity, plasticity. Yeah, I can't say that word.
Plasticity. Yeah.
Yeah, that word. We're going to go with that one. Because of that, it helps actually bring the brain back to where it was when we were children and we were able to learn like super fast. And that was a fascinating study that I'm looking into.
Yeah. And so Phyllis, that's what's in magic mushrooms, right? If I'm not mistaken.
That's the psilocybin is what's in the what is it, the Masano something, the magic mushrooms, and the dimethyltryptamine is actually in a lot of things. The Aztecs in the South American cultures used it by mixing bark and a root in order to make ayahuasca, which is like a brew or a tea or a coffee, I guess, of sorts, that they would use in order to go through specific rituals with the medicine man or the shaman, and to help heal outside forces. Now, the interesting thing about that, which is what brought this up, as far as the either smoking it going directly into the lungs or eating it going into the gastric, it gets into the bloodstream and gets into the body to process totally different. You see, the human body is not able to process the DMT structure or the dimethyltryptamine by like the ayahuasca by ingestion. You can't just eat it. Nothing happens. Okay. Your body will not allow it to pick up unless you eat the root with it, which is why they mix the root and the plant together, is in order for the body to actually absorb it, because it acts like a not an antipsychotic, antidepressant, where it amino blockers or something along those lines. I'm butchering this. I'm not a scientist. I'm just some dumb.
Yeah.
It allows that. It allows by taking that, it allows the body to actually absorb through the gut tract all of the things that you're trying to accomplish or what you're trying to do with it. Without that root, though, it will do nothing. Your body will never absorb it, and your gastric system will just bypass it as waste.
Oh, wow.
Which is something I found extremely interesting. It dictates how you introduce it to your body, not just what you introduce to your body.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our bodies are pretty much equipped for keeping poison out, you know.
Or allowing poison in when it's certain benefit.
It's certain. Right, exactly.
Millennia, as what is poison in heavy concentrations are medication in smaller doses.
Well, that's pretty much the difference between medication and poison, right? Is the dosage, you know?
True. Yeah. Well, that's
I mean,
bigger brains than we have is saying that too. They're putting medication on it versus poison on it.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly it. And then as far as the nicotine goes, again, so I actually did talk to my doctor about it, because everybody was like, you're going to start smoking. Don't take nicotine, right? Because again, there's a bad rap. It's like, oh, well, nicotine is so addictive. It's like, yeah, it's addictive, but it's no more addictive than caffeine. Like, I really don't chew it. Except for, I mean, I have been doing it a little more these days, but I've been interacting with people a lot more too, and I use it to control my shakiness with talking to people and stuff, you know. So, but it's not like I'm chewing it nonstop, you know, or I'm like, oh my god, I need to chew gum, you know. It's not like that. With a cigarette, you might feel that way, but with cigarettes, there's a lot more things going on than just the nicotine, right?
Well, like they add licorice to cigarettes in order so it doesn't upset your stomach, because you can get nicotine poisoning very quickly, and it turns into nausea and things like that first. So cigarette companies decided that it would be much better to add licorice to it so that you don't get the upset stomach, so you can smoke more.
Yep.
And then they add the magnesium to it so it burns evenly, and there's so many additives and shit they add to it.
Exactly. There's so much more to it than just the nicotine, and that's but that's like the main kind of like thing that is always, even on the box of cigarettes it says, "Warning: nicotine is an addictive substance," but it's the only one that it names that way, right? But I did talk to my doctor, and he pretty much confirmed everything that we've been talking about. Like, he's like, yeah, I understand completely why nicotine has that effect on you, and honestly, it probably works just as well as anything I can prescribe for you. And as long as you don't start smoking, I'm okay with it. So I was like, all right, perfect. So I've been doing it ever since. And like I said, I mean, it's not like I'm not addicted to it in the sense that I would get shakes when I'm not chewing or anything like that.
No, I can see that.
I mean, I guess, so yeah, and it complements the caffeine. I think in combination with caffeine is probably what helps too. I do usually, when I go to work, I'll chew a couple pieces of gum, and then I will drink like a caffeinated soda. And this morning I had a coffee, and now I'm chewing a piece. So I think the combination of nicotine and caffeine kind of helps. What's that?
I said my day doesn't even start until I get through like a pot of coffee.
Yeah, right. And that it helps get you through, I don't drink coffee all that much, and actually my coffee will probably looks very, very light for most coffee drinkers. I'm not an avid coffee drinker. I'm more of like a caffeinated cream person.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way as well. I like my coffee very blonde and very sweet.
Yes.
Some of my friends joke at me and they say, "You're not drinking coffee, you're drinking chocolate milk."
Yeah. That's what they said to me the other day. They're like, "Oh, we're calling that coffee now?" I'm like, "All right, fine, caffeinated cream."
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Pops, thanks for tuning in, man. We actually have to wrap up a few minutes, but I appreciate you coming on, man. And Doc, thanks for coming on as well. I appreciate you watching this morning as well. It's nice to not just shout to the void all morning long.
I completely understand. I might be having that on my show on Sunday. I am without a guest at the moment, so anybody watching, if they would like to come on my show on Sunday, I am without a guest at the moment.
What time is your show?
At 7 on Sunday.
7, okay. I could probably make that if you're looking for a guest. Because I've got Critical Blast and I think 3 or something. But I could take a nap in between shows and then pop on at 7. I could do that.
If you want to come on and come hang out with me, what it looks like is going to happen right now is I'm just going to go ahead and rant about my project and get a little bit of time to push for my pre-launch, because I'm still trying to build an audience for issue 2.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. If we could do a shout out for my project, I need some eyes on my project. I've got 2 backers in 2 weeks, so it's a little rough out there for me right now.
About your project as well, that would work out well.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Absolutely. And I'm popping on to CromCon later today as well. 1:30 is my time slot for CromCon, so I can't wait for that as well. So I've got a pretty good weekend ahead of me. And
lots of broadcasting. Now, have you done any animation?
I don't really have the skills for that.
Neither do I, but I'm also, ADD, so I hyper focus on things, and I've been working on some of the Adobe animation programs, I guess we'll call it. And I think I may have been able to animate Above Average Joe so that I can live stream with him as my avatar.
Oh, that's cool.
So let me play with this a little bit more. But once I figure this out, I might be able to show you how you can animate one of your favorite characters and use them as an avatar, because their mouth moves, their eyes move. The hardest part I'm finding out is how to get the third eye to blink with the other eyes, but not at the same time.
Oh yeah,
in tandem with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, with AI and some of these new programs they've got coming out there, the animation I think might be coming hopefully a lot easier, because I'm hopefully going to animate my issue. First World would be a great animation to be added.
Oh
onto
man!
the comic book. But I went out and I got a quote for a professional company to animate issue 1. Issue 1 is a 24-page book, very small book. It's not anything extravagant, right? So the quote I got back would have been 18 minutes of animation based on the storyboarding I sent over to him of the comic book, and it was going to be $75,000 for an 18-minute animation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. It's like, who has that kind of money?
Yeah, it would be really cool. Yes, it would. But
yeah,
sorry, how much was that again?
That's more than I make in a year.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get it. It's. Oh yeah, right. I mean, it's hard work, animation for sure. There's a lot. Obviously, art is already pretty, strenuous work, right? That's why it's like $100 a page for a lot of comics, even more, a little bit less, a little bit more, depending on who your artist is, of course, right? But animation is like 10 times the work, right?
I'm not sure about all that. As long as because I'm not an artist myself, but I'm now requesting some specific art pieces from my artists in order to be able to put them together in the animation. And the biggest thing I'm learning is it's all about the layers and the naming conventions. So it's a lot more systematic than I thought it was going to be. So everything's got to be its own layer, and it's got to be labeled specifically so that the programs can understand this is supposed to be the left eye. This is supposed to be something else. This is supposed to be whatnots. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's definitely educational.
Yeah. I've tried over and over again to and maybe it's just I can't find a good tutorial, because everything I've learned in Adobe programs like Photoshop and stuff has been from tutorials. But as far as After Effects is concerned, I maybe it's just I can't find a good tutorial, but I get so lost trying to figure out After Effects because there's just so much more to it.
You've seen my trailer, my 1-minute trailer? Have you seen that one yet?
Oh, maybe not your 1 minute. I know I always play the ad that you have, but I don't think I've seen the 1 minute trailer.
You say, give me 1 second. Can you give me access to share my screen here in just a minute? And I will.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm getting to the. Too many screens open.
I know that feeling.
All right, it's that one.
There we go. All right. Add to stream. Here we go.
Ready?
Not from Disney. One of one doctors recommend. A good writer. A Blackman art. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a fucking obvious theory. They fucked around. We found out. All fun and games. Until the monkey dies. Welcome to First World.
All right.
So that is the new trailer that I put together, and I wanted to go ahead and show you that because I hacked that one. I went ahead and I found a template for a theatrical trailer, and I got it for like $40, I think, and I purchased the template so I can use it over and over again. And then you just go into After Effects and you plug in. I think I gave it 12 images, 17 text lines, and 8 headlines.
Oh wow!
And that jumped out after I layered. It didn't take me very long, and it was, standing on the shoulders of giants. It's using people that do this professionally for a living to do the heavy lifting, and then I just add the details or the sprinkles.
Yeah, wow, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that for sure then, because that looks pretty professional. Like I said,
I gotta tell people I did that, and I pushed the button to render it and then set for 6 hours and watched it. But no, I didn't do any of the complicated because I don't know how the things come in from the side and the sparkle on top of it. But I can deconstruct things a lot easier than I can create things. So by me just going editing and changing that, I learned so much about After Effects. And then they have other
that makes sense.
Character Creator and the Animate and things like that allows you to put bones where you can rig up the character almost like a puppet and move it like
I was trying to get fool around with the puppet tool in After Effects one day, and I'm just like, this is beyond me.
That's what I'm
this
playing
stuff
with
is
now.
beyond me.
I was doing that last night when I fell asleep. I was rigging up the puppet, going through the different layers and things.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I think what I probably really need is like literally a second by second tutorial of what exactly to do, because people talk too fast, and then if they have an accent, no offense to anybody with accents, but it's hard for me to understand what they're saying sometimes, and I'm like, what did they say? And then or they'll go too fast on their screen, expect you to know what they're talking about, and I'm like, hold on, what? Or they'll do something that my program doesn't have because we have different versions, and there's that too.
Like supposedly you can have different windows open and be able to jump between like Character Animator or After Effects into Photoshop or Illustrator that you're using as your art background. My computer won't allow me to do it. I literally have to open the programs and then jump back and forth between the programs and reload them. You probably have to have a pretty good computer for that kind of stuff too. Well, there's probably an additional program that I don't know about, like a bridge program that jumps between the two. Or something, some sort of an
actually
API or something.
I think there is a program called Adobe Bridge. Now that I think about it.
Yep, but you see, that might be what I'm missing.
Yep. So I subscribe to the suite for like $40 a month, and that gives you like everything they have.
Yep, so I got the same thing, and I say now, which one do you like? Do you like Photoshop or Illustrator?
Photoshop,
like one or the other. They don't typically use.
But that's probably because, like, I guess if I were someone who did a lot more, I guess Illustrator is supposed to be better for lettering than Photoshop, but Photoshop's good for like a lot of the editing of stuff. So when I'm just like placing logos and stuff, it's better for Photoshop.
And I understand Photoshop a lot better than I understand Illustrator. Just more time in that program.
Exactly. Yeah, I've learned a lot more about Photoshop than I have Illustrator as well.
Now you can use Photoshop as an animation tool. You can actually add a timeline to the Photoshop program.
Because I think you can make GIFs and animations as well.
I did.
You can even do that
in Photoshop.
A lot of the stuff you could do in After Effects, you could also do in Adobe Premiere, which is what I used for my trailer to kind of simulate those same kind of things that people do in After Effects. Although I do it probably a lot more rough around the edges because I'm not an animator, but it gets the job done either way.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I've got to wrap it up here. I've got to go get my laundry and get on my day. But hey, man, I'll thank you for jumping on, man. I appreciate it.
Go ahead and shoot me a link on message, and we'll get set up for Sunday.
Sounds good. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll send you a link, and yeah, I'll write it. I'll make sure I write it down so I don't forget. 7 o'clock Sunday, and that's Eastern time, correct?
Yeah, 7 o'clock Eastern time Sunday.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah,
all right, that sounds good.
good.
I'll let you wrap it up. I'll jump out of the studio. Good morning, and thank you.
Very good. Yeah, thank you, man. Have a good one. All right, and folks at home, thank you for watching today. This morning, happy CromCon. Please stay tuned. We got a lot of great stuff coming up in CromCon. My show is not the only one, and it's not the best one. So stay tuned. I believe that starts about 10 or 11 o'clock later today. So thank you all for tuning in today. Doc, thanks for joining me today. And guys, I will see you next time. Bye-bye now. Where is my outro? Dun, 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 dun. There we go.